I was clearly a mega-rich villain worth tens of trillions, yet I was doomed to lose to the halo-wearing Dragon King male lead. Once I found out I was destined to die horribly in the end, I decided to steal the cold, untouchable heroine ahead of schedule, and even had 2 kids with her. At first, right after I got transmigrated, my plan was simple. Just lay low, keep growing, and stay away from the heroine. If I did that, none of the later plot would happen. But even though I was sitting on a fortune worth tens of trillions, my life felt empty as hell. Every day, I'd wake up on my 5,000 square foot gold-plated waterbed and still feel like something was missing. Then one day, I saw the heroine, Lucy, on TV in a white suit. Her sharp, icy features hit me like a blade across the eyes. A heroine really is a heroine. She was so gorgeous I was practically drooling, and suddenly a bold idea popped into my head. I'm the big villain here, and now I know the whole plot. So why shouldn't I go after the heroine? As long as the male lead hadn't fully leveled up yet, crushing him would be as easy as stepping on an ant, so I went for it. I used raw money power to crush Lucy's company and force her into a corner. A little company like Shaw Group was never going to survive the Carter Consortium rolling over it. Shaw Group was in trouble fast. Lucy might have been a genius, but even she couldn't save a company that was already on the verge of collapse. Just like that, I had her right where I wanted her, but after a while even that got boring. The male lead still hadn't shown up. I went from nervous to thrilled to completely uninterested. At this point, Lucy had already had my second child, and the male lead still hadn't even shown his face. Seriously, where the hell was this guy? Without that sense of danger hanging over me, everything started to feel dull. Then finally, early one morning, my assistant called me, sounding hyped. "Chairman, we found the person you were looking for." I snapped awake instantly. "Now that's what I like to hear. Tell me everything. How'd you find him?" This morning, Shaw Group was hiring bodyguards. There was one guy standing in the crowd who really stood out. Just like you said, he had that unusual vibe. The second I heard that, I had people investigate him. And wow, this guy had spent 8 years overseas as a mercenary. Before that, he was the second son of Reed Group. Pretty soon, my assistant sent his photo to my phone. Sharp brows, bright eyes, a cold, dangerous stare. Yeah, he definitely looked like a male lead. No doubt about it. It had to be him. So the male lead was Tom Reed, the ruined second son of the Reed family. His family company got destroyed. He went overseas at 18 to become a mercenary and came back at 27 to work as Lucy's bodyguard. That is the most male lead setup ever. The moment he showed up, I was wide awake. I immediately headed over to the Shaw Group office building. "Jack, what are you doing here?" The second Lucy saw me, her eyes turned cold and she frowned. After having 2 kids, she somehow looked even more mature and stunning. Her white business suit traced her clean, elegant figure. I rubbed my chin and gave her a crooked grin. Lucy was furious, her chest heaving. I loosened my tie and walked straight toward her. She immediately grabbed a folder off the desk and held it in front of herself, even knocking over the trash can when she stepped back in her heels. "Jack, this is the office." I braced one hand on her desk and leaned in, catching the jasmine scent in her hair. "Why so nervous? I just came to see you. What, I don't even have the right to see the mother of my kids?" Lucy looked like ice itself, biting her lip as she said, "Don't think that just because I had 2 children with you, I'm ever going to fall for you. Give it up." I curled my lips into a faint smile. "You don't have to fall for me. I can be the one who falls for you." As I said that, I stepped even closer. Lucy pressed both hands against my chest, trying to push me away. I lowered my voice and said, "Lucy, you don't want Shaw Group going bankrupt, do you?" The second she heard that, the tips of Lucy's ears turned bright red. She turned her face away from me. She clearly hated it, but she still forced herself to act tough and mouth off, which made me roll my eyes. I smiled, satisfied. The files on the desk ended up scattered all over the floor, and the standoff dragged on for a long time. It wasn't until close to lunch that I finally walked out of Lucy's office. My bodyguards filled the hallway, shoving Lucy's people into the corner. Tom was standing there too. I shot him a provocative look and gave him a wicked smile. I'd been bored for way too long. For now, I decided to keep the male lead around and have some fun with him. But then again, what if the male lead came after me? That was definitely something to think about. Still, the second I remembered I was the villain, a lot of problems suddenly got way easier to solve. The moment I got home, I arranged for a team of retired recon soldiers to watch Tom around the clock. I was still thinking about how to spend the afternoon when I heard crying from the nursery. The nanny started shaking the second she saw me. Turns out my 2-year-old daughter had secretly poked at my 6-month-old son, which woke him up and made him cry. Then my daughter panicked and started crying too. I crouched down and wiped the tears off my daughter's face with my thumb. There were still tears hanging from her lashes, but she threw herself straight into my arms anyway and called out, "Daddy," in that soft little baby voice. I held her and rocked her gently, and pretty soon she was smiling again. The nanny calmed my son down too, and eventually he stopped crying. Looking at those 2 little kids, I suddenly felt dazed. Was this really the kind of life the original story's evil villain was supposed to have? I mean, nobody ever said villains couldn't have kids. Watching them, I couldn't help pulling my daughter into a tight hug. They'd been missing a mother's love since they were born. Lucy didn't come see them often, because every time she did, things between us turned ugly. So she only came by 3 days a week: Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. My daughter fell asleep on my shoulder, her cheeks all pink, her lashes still damp with tears. I motioned for the nanny to bring my son over too. The two little ones lay side by side in the crib, their breathing slowly settling down. Not long after that, my surveillance team sent word back. Tom had finally made a move. At a party, he protected Lucy and even saved Anna, the young heiress of the Liu family, while he was at it. He made a huge scene and instantly became the center of attention. Typical male lead, saving 2 gorgeous women in one go. Afterward, a hot police officer took him back to the station for questioning. In the security footage, his shirt sleeves were rolled up to his elbows, showing off his solid forearms. A few rich brats had a little too much to drink and started harassing Lucy and Anna. Tom nailed one of them with a clean shoulder throw and dropped the guy on the spot. Now that's interesting. I took a sip of red wine and tapped my fingertip against the crystal glass. Lucy was acting calm on camera, but she looked especially striking. She was wearing a champagne-colored mermaid dress that day, and the crystal necklace at her chest rose and fell with her quick breaths. Tom stood in front of them, all swagger and confidence, completely unfazed by the threats those rich punks were throwing around. He really got his moment. He probably thought a move like that would win the girls over. I mean, after 8 years out there as a mercenary, when would have Tom ever seen this many beautiful women? Chairman, should we? My assistant made a throat-cutting gesture, but I raised a hand and stopped her. No rush. I still want to see how this story plays out. If he finds out the heroine, Lucy, is already the mother of 2 kids, what kind of face do you think he'll make? That thought made me laugh out loud. I tapped the tablet and gave the order. Get me Anna's full file, too. If I'm the big villain here, there's no way I'm leaving the good stuff for the male lead. As I put the tablet down, I happened to glance at the nursery camera feed. My daughter was trying to shove my son's tiny foot into her mouth, and the sight nearly melted my heart. The look in my eyes softened right away. Lucy showed up especially late that day. The sound of her high heels on the marble floor was sharp but tired. Are the kids asleep? There wasn't a trace of emotion in her voice. I nodded and watched her walk toward the nursery. Both kids had been born while she was trapped under my control. Maybe that was why Lucy saw them as scars left behind by that relationship. Even when she came to visit, she always wore the same cold expression. I walked up behind her, my fingers sliding through her loose hair. When my fingertips brushed the back of her neck, she visibly flinched. I leaned in and whispered by her ear, "Coming this late? Then we need to talk." Lucy spun around, panic flashing through her eyes. Not here. The kids are right here. I grabbed her chin, my thumb brushing the edge of her lipstick. And what if I don't agree? Lucy turned her face away, but I caught her wrist and pinned it against the wall. "Jack, are you insane?" she whispered, trying not to wake the children beside us. I tugged open my collar and said coldly, "I'm still not over this. From here on out, we do things my way." Lucy swallowed her anger and was forced into the study with me. Before long, it was the next day. I looked at the 3 unread messages on my phone. The latest report said that after Tom finished giving his statement at the station last night, he went straight to a rundown martial arts gym on the edge of town. The owner was a retired Special Forces soldier who used to work security for the Reed family. "Interesting," I said with a grin as I walked up to the nursery door. My daughter was leaning over the crib, poking her little brother's face with her chubby hand. "Daddy!" The second she saw me, she threw her arms open and came running. I picked her up with one arm and used the other hand to gently touch my son's cheek. The little guy was sleeping soundly with a bit of milk still at the corner of his mouth. At least my baby boy wasn't hungry. Later on, the plot started slipping out of my control, and it caught me completely off guard. My assistant reported that Lucy and Tom had gone to a manor out in the suburbs together. I figured it was about time for me to make my entrance and finally meet this so-called chosen one. Once the hero and heroine started catching feelings, I'd step in and shut the whole thing down. Then I'd expose the truth about Lucy right in front of him, wait until he lost his cool and finish him off. But who would have thought? They didn't follow my script at all. I rushed to the manor with 800 men in black, marched up and kicked the door open. But the second I saw what was inside, I froze on the spot.